like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shade for the championship. Bucking on Tampa, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Buggy like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. You're listening to the sports coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network.
All right. Shout out to the fam. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're now rocking with the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys, but we have intense, entertaining, educating, and enlightening sport talk from your favorite sports fam. What's poppin'? Fam, it is draft day eve, if there is such a thing. But anyway, I won't hold you very long on this quick stream. I just wanted to come at you on this Wednesday. Of course, we know the Pels. I cover the Pels as well and be looking at the Pelicans matchup at 8:30, game 2 of the first round against OKC. We're trying to get a dub. But really on the Saints side of things, fam, and we're going to have a full stream tomorrow. I invite you guys to come and check it out, man. Tomorrow we'll be firing up at the appointed time. Show is already set up over the next several days. And we're going to be doing draft coverage day 1, day 2, and day 3. So a phone line's going to be popping, opening up the phone lines to hear from the family members. I know I haven't done that in a while, man. I've been moving around doing a lot of business. But listen, we're going to do that tomorrow, man, and over the next several days. So anyway, shout out to you. Please feel free to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I appreciate everybody for being in this thing. Much love to OG. I see you. Gundam, Dana. Good to see everybody in this thing. Much love. Rush Hour. Good to see you, brother. B-Rock. What's poppin', fam? PM. All right, says Joe Alt. Yeah, bro, I don't think Joe Alt makes it to us, bro, but you never can tell, you know. True Louisiana. Shout out to all y'all, man. Appreciate y'all being in the stream. Much love. All right, so let's get right into it, man. This is some news. We talked about the Saints basically renegotiated James Hurst, and I often joked during the season about James Hurst's play. Ultimately ended up going to put the quarterback into Hurst, but James Hurst retired, and we knew the Saints restructured his contract, and basically he took a pay cut to stay with the team, and ultimately he decided to retire. So what's going on? We see Andrews Pete, depart. He leaves the team, and and people saying, "Won't we sign him back for a year?" and all this kind of stuff. I don't think so. I think we need to start looking forward. We've been talking about the cap issues. Mickey came out. He talked about it on the press conference that he did yesterday. We covered the press conference on our Patreon for our YouTube membership family and Patreon family. Check that out. Good game. Covered a lot of really good talking points. When I listen to Mickey Loomis, I always do breakdowns because it hits differently, because I'm a historian of the Saint culture. Also, I'm statistically inclined, so I just be hearing things, and then it was really good game. It was a good show. So that's on Patreon for our family, my YouTube membership family. But he talked about people asking about the economics currently the Saints are undergoing. The reality is the kicking of the can finally has taken an impact on the Saints. So they're taking more of a draft approach. Now, he did mention they're signing some people after the draft, and usually those are cheap veterans that you sign, and you'd be fortunate to kind of pick up a veteran to add to the team, because people will cut somebody, and still in all, it'll be competitive to sign some of these guys, and you just kind of basically finding veterans to come along and fill some of the vacant slots in the depth chart. But this was something, he retires right. This is a thing where the Saints should have been pushing to kind of, just basically upgraded. We only signed one offensive lineman, Ali Udo, who basically projects to be a guard, not a tackle. He's not a tackle. He's not fast enough to play tackle, but guard. He does project to be a solid guard for the Saints, and obviously he will take James Hurt's position. Anyway, let's take a look at it, fam. We'll cover this inside, and shout out to Saints Wire. They said the retirement offseason offensive lineman James Hurst announced he will be ending his career early Wednesday afternoon. In a lengthy Instagram post, he thanked all of his people, and everything. 10 years in the NFL, 6 of which was with the Ravens. Signed it out undrafted. He came out of North Carolina undrafted. Signed with the Saints back in 2020. 2020, he played 12 games, received a 3-year extension, and we knew that his game was slipping severely. I talked about that last year. About James, it was noticeable, but this retirement leaves the Saints in a difficult situation on the eve of the draft, as they were already pretty weak along the offensive line. Now with the news of Ryan Ramczyk dealing with a potential long-term injury recovery with his knee issue, the Saints going to need to focus heavily on restocking the position in the draft. With Trevor Penning development not going as planned, seemingly Eric McCoy, Cesar Ruiz named as the 2 starters, 3 gaps alongside them. This blah 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 blah. So, does anything change by the way of James Hurst's retirement? The reality is nothing has changed. What's up, Kathleen? Shout out to you. Saints for life. I see you, fam. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. The course is still the same. The Saints signed a veteran offensive lineman, Ali Udo, replaces James Hurst. Nothing changes. We still have to upgrade the offensive line. The Trevor Penning thing is, listen, fam, I'm going to address this. I addressed it on last show. I'm not trying to disparage anybody, but listen, it's unintelligent to talk about trading Trevor Penning when he has no trade value. And I said this before. Think about who you're talking about when you talk about the Saints. We're talking about Mickey Loomis. This is an ego-driven team in terms of the leadership at the top. Mickey Loomis is very ego-driven. He wouldn't dare give you or me or any damn body the pleasure of having him to have a first-round bust on his watch. He would not dare trade Trevor Penning to make us happy. He's not going to do that. Trevor Penning is not going to be a guard because, and then the thing is, he has 0 trade value. And what you going to get for him? He's 3 years into his rookie contract. He didn't play the first year except for 1 game, and that's on Dennis Allen. The following year, he was throwing at left tackle, and I said all of the way, the whole damn time, that he's not a left tackle. He shouldn't be there, but they were doing that to protect Ryan Ramczyk. And now it turns out Ryan Ramczyk's issue is so bad that he probably won't be able to play. Also stuff that I said. So at some point, the Saints are going to have to address it. This is my guess, and I could be wrong. Left tackle position could be, and listen, I got a mock, my final mock I'm going to give to you guys. But I'm going to just touch on this. I'm going to talk about this more over the next several days for the draft coverage. But the reality is the Saints are in a situation where they're going to see if they're going to give Trevor Penning every opportunity to win that right tackle position. I wouldn't dare put him at left tackle. I think he'll do better at right tackle. I think he does better at right tackle. In the Saints draft, they'll get a left tackle. So you'll have 2 basically new offensive tackles there, basically inexperienced tackles there, right? But I think he does better at right tackle. That's another thing. And the third and final thing before I move on is the fact that you have a new offensive line coach in John Benton, who has to have an opportunity to see what he can do with Trevor Penning. Okay. So those are 3 things right there that are very important that I'm talking about when you talk about Saints culture and you talk about the team. Think about who you're talking about. And do you believe that they'll do this stuff? Absolutely not. They're not going to trade Trevor Penning. They're not going to do that. Like I said, a new offensive line coach can turn Penning into something solid, just like you've seen the maturation of a guy like Cesar Ruiz, who was just god awful. But then he turned it around. Why can't we see that for Trevor Penning under new offensive lineman leadership? You got to at least try, right? You know he has the attributes. He has the skills. He's very athletic. You got to give Benton an opportunity to turn him around. And then, of course, the Saints will probably draft the left tackle in this upcoming draft. So anyway, we'll see how it goes, man, in this, and we'll see how it rolls. But listen, let's just jump right on to it. Hurst is retiring. It changes nothing. The Saints have an opportunity. They're going to have to address this need. The offensive line was the biggest need, period. You can't have, you're talking about zone blocking schemes and all this stuff under a new coordinator, and you're talking about you got the personnel to run it. You do not have the personnel to run that type of scheme. You don't have it. You're going to have to add offense. You need offensive linemen that can move, not slow guys like Hurst. You need offensive linemen that can really move and do something. And Hurst, he's gotten to a point. He was and I just said it, man. The man was just not what he was. He was just literally disintegrating out there. You need offensive linemen, big physical linemen that can get out and move in that type of scheme. You know what I'm saying? So, and like I said, they do a lot of what they move along the line. A lot of what you call horizontal movements to get it around and into and blocking these defensive linemen and get to the next level to get linebackers to spring guys. So you're gonna see a lot of that stuff going on. If he's gonna run Kubiak's running the style that Kyle Shanahan seemed, you can watch 49 and tape and this is a very live situation, and the lineman has to handle a business. It's all with the line. We got to run too. I want us to run more. But anyway, let's get right into the draft. Enough of that. We'll cover more of this tomorrow when we talk about and cover more of the draft when I have some more time. All right. Anyway, let's get right on into it, man. This is my last mock draft, and I've been mocking my ass off, man. But I'm tired. I'm tired of mocking. But anyway, this is the final mock draft that I got for you guys. And listen, I did one a couple of shows. What, a show two ago? I forget. But it's similar. But listen, Troy, it goes like this. This is the Saints mock, my latest and last mock. I got at the 14th overall pick for the Saints. I got him taking Troy Fautanu. Now, Fautanu, to me, I had him, and the way I graded my offensive tackles, I had Joe Alt number 1. I had Fashanu number 2 from Penn State. I had Talise Fuaga 3. I had JC Latham 4. I had Troy Fautanu 5. I had and then it goes on. You see Guyton and Mims from Georgia. They're there, and I kind of clumped the rest of them, right? But there's 2 guys that I think are, I ain't gonna say head and shoulders, maybe head above the rest of the pack. So if you get a Joe Alt and Fashanu, those guys, to me, like Alt is the best one there. He won't fall to us at 14. We have to go up and get him. But a guy like Fashanu, I thought is really solid offensive lineman. Has everything that you will want, and he has some stuff in his game he had to change. But in the end, I thought those are the 2 best. And then everybody kind of falls together, and you get all these really good, solid offensive tackles who could really help you. And then you get a mash of guys, a bunch of really good ones, depending on your stylistic fit. But Troy Fautanu, I've been watching a lot of tape on Fautanu. I had him graded below Talise Fuaga, and I was looking at him. I was like, damn, this guy could play. I won't say that their games are the same, but to me, I was like, yeah, you know what? He kind of grew on me. So I'm looking at his film and his tape, and I'm saying, yeah, I can see, him being a little bit better than Fuaga, or maybe right on the same line, depending, like I say, stylistically speaking. But in the end, I think that, he fell to me because I couldn't get Fashanu. I couldn't get him in the draft. He was already gone 2 spots ahead of me in the draft. And let me see, man, who picked him up, man. See, Joe Alt went 7. This is the mock I had. Joe Alt went to Tennessee at 7, and there he is. Ole Fashanu went to the Jets to protect Aaron Rodgers' old butt. So he was gone by 10. So I think Troy Fautanu, and whether it was Fuaga or Fautanu, those guys are right around the same. And I like Troy Fautanu because if you're looking for like that zone blocking scheme, boy, he can move. This guy can move. He's big. He's strong. The knock on him is hand placement. Gets a little sloppy at times. But a lot of this stuff could be cleaned up with Troy Fautanu. His attitude to play the position. He's played the left tackle and left guard position before. And I think that he could really be a solid player for you on your offensive line. Like if you're looking at stuff and you're trying to change around stuff, this guy, 6'4", 6'5", 317 pounds, he can really move, has a really good attitude. Has a little meanness in him too. Really strong. There's portions of his game that he needs to have change to kind of change up, but he's played that side, man. And I like Fatano, man. I think he would be good. But since I couldn't get Fashano, I think Fatano is not a bad guy to have there at that left tackle position because number one, the Saints don't have the money to chase veteran offensive linemen. They've already said over the next 2 years, including this year, they're not going to, they're going to be very conservative in their approach economically speaking, which means that's telling you that the team has to improve some kind of way, which is they're going to be putting all their emphasis toward the draft and trying to get talent from the draft until they get out of this law. And once they clear, hopefully they can work their books back to the black. Hopefully this is a reset moment for Mickey Loomis to stop throwing the money to the wind. That $150 million contract to Carr, man, my goodness. But anyway, I won't even talk about that. But anyway, in terms of the draft, Troy Fatano's my pick in my latest mock, my final mock, to protect the blind side of Derek Carr. Okay, let's move on to the next pick 45 for the Saints in the second round. Now, by the way, I did make some trades. I traded two of my fifth round picks to move up to I forget what is it, 107. I took a couple of my picks and traded with, I believe, the Patriots to move up into the fourth round to pick 107. So I did get into the fourth round. I wanted to get into the fourth round. That's a gap that I didn't want to miss out on. But anyway, just letting you know that. With the 45th pick in the draft, I took Tavontre Sweat. Now, this is similar to my other mock because Tavontre Sweat is predicted to fall because of a DWI that he had, which is going to make him slip a bit. Now, this is the thing about Tavontre Sweat. The Saints were ranting and raving over this dude. He has first round talent. He's about 6'5", 366 pounds. He's not just a big plodding guy, very athletic, gives you a push up the middle as well. He's just a phenomenal talent. Now, there are reports coming out that the Dallas Cowboys, despite his DWI situation that occurred in early April, they're still thinking about picking him high in the draft. So I don't know if it's in the first round, but because he has first round talent, but I think it's probably in the second round that DeAndre Sweat will be available. If he's there for you and you need somebody to fill in, and remember, we had Malcolm Roach. Malcolm was undrafted and we turned him into something. He was from Texas. Well, you got Tavontre Sweat. He's from Texas. It's a second round pick. Now, Q, why would you take a second round defensive tackle when we got all these people? Because I don't see like Brian Bresee, right? Brian Bresee that we have currently is going to be a starter eventually. Colin Saunders is another guy. I don't see Nate Shepard as a starter, so eventually, and then of course you always look for injuries. So when you have an opportunity to kind of get a really good player, and this guy's got to be high on their board because he really wowed them when they went and took a peek at him. If he's there, you take Tavontre Sweat. You can never have too many really good interior forces like this guy, and this guy is a force. All right, so that's in the second round. Then we move on to the 107 pick that I traded 2 fifth-round picks to move up to the fourth round, and I drafted Cornelius Johnson. Now, Cornelius Johnson is a big wide receiver. I gave the Saints a big wide receiver. He's 6'3", 6'4", 215 pounds. He's a guy that runs 4.44 in the 40. That's right. So you have a tall wide receiver from a pro-style offense in Michigan who can not only catch the ball, his best skill is him high pointing the ball. The guy high points the ball. His special skill is catching contested balls. He's really good at that. Plus, I said the guy has 4.44 speed. Think about that. So not only do you have the size of the wide receiver that you value, like you have an A.T. Perry, who's also has some good size and speed to him. I give you another guy from a pro-style offense with Michigan that you bring into the wide receiver room. And this is also, helps improve not only the size and the speed of the wide receiver room, because we need to kind of get those guys to come along to help us because, you never know what injuries could prop up. His knock to me is while watching the tape, his footwork is not all that. But despite that, he was pretty solid and productive for Michigan. But we have to work on his route tree and him running routes. And that's something I think that we can do down here. We got a new wide receiver coach from Baltimore that should be able to work on that to help him. But he's a talent, man. And I get him in the fourth round. They said he would go somewhere in the third or fourth round. But I was looking for wide receivers with size and speed, not just little guys. They got a bunch of really good little guys. in the draft if you're looking for a slot man or something like that. But Cornelius Johnson is a big wide receiver with speed who high points the ball. You got to work on his footwork, though. All right, so anyway, moving on in the draft to the first of my fifth round picks, which I have two remaining. We got Bo Brady. Actually, Bo Brady from Michigan. This is a fit. Now, listen, I got you. I got us a safety. Why? Because you're going to need a safety. You got Jonathan Abrams on a 1-year contract. You got JT Gray, who's a special teams guy. He's not very good playing safety. So you have a guy like Bo Brady, who comes from Maryland, very productive for them over the last several seasons. And he's a guy, he played special teams for him. He led them in tackles the last 2 years. He had 85 tackles in 2022 with 2 picks in 13 games, a bunch of pass breakups. And then in this past year, he was all mentioned in the Big Ten, all Big Ten conference, led the team with 75 tackles in 12 games, 4 tackles for loss. He had an interception, 6 pass breakups, forced fumbles, all of that. So when you get a guy like Bo Brady, who's 6 feet tall, and he has pretty decent speed too for him. Well, I mean, he's not, he ain't all that speed wise. I mean, he's cool. He's cool, but he's projected to be a safety for you that goes in the 4th round. Now, what I like about him is, like I said, you're going to need a guy like Bo Brady to come in to pair with a Jordan Howden, because the future, you're looking at the safety position. Like I said, you need younger guys there, and this guy helps. He will help. Physical, very productive, can play both the safety spots for you if you need them. And him and Jordan Howden together, once Tyrann Mathieu kind of gets on out the way and he finishes his career, we're looking at having a good young safety tandem right there to build to the back end of our, for our team moving into the future. So, y'all look him up, man. Very solid player that'll make some plays for us in the secondary. Speaking of secondary, I got another secondary member, and Naima Pritchett. Now, Pritchett is a solid cornerback from Auburn. Very productive guy, played really solidly for them last year. Very fast. He's 6 feet tall, 190 pounds. The guy runs a 4.36 in the 40, so he has speed. He got long arms and limbs. He's active. He had 20-something odd tackles this past season. The following year, he had 37 tackles. And he has some stuff. He did miss a couple of games last year due to injury. But, man, you talk about a solid cornerback, man, with a good attitude problem. Is solid confidence-wise and all of that. Long arms. And like I said, you're going to need a physical cornerback like this. And why would we need a cornerback? Because you get extremely thin if injuries happen to any one of our guys. If it's Lattimore or Paulson Adebo or Alante Taylor, you're digging to the 4th cornerback. You're looking at the dime guy saying, hey, man, what's going on? And this guy, Pritchett, could be that guy for you, because like I said, we need to get talent in there. And this guy has the speed, has the size and the temperament. And I can only imagine what Joe Woods would do with young defensive players. I mean, Joe coaches the cornerbacks, but to have young DBs and like Bo Brady and Pritchett back there in the Saints secondary, man, that have size and speed, and those guys tackle and do their thing, man, it's pretty good. But also he has to work on his awareness in terms of, at times, he's kind of stiff in the hips at times, but stuff like that, man. But all that could be worked out with a good coach, man. We can work all that out, man. We can get all that going in the right direction. All right, so let's keep it going, man. I know I'm going kind of fast. I'm about to jump on over to the other stream, but let's finish up the mock here. 3 more picks. My first of my 6th round picks. Eric All. There was somebody telling me in the comment section, hey, Q, look at Eric All. I've seen Eric All, bro. I was watching Eric All. The reason why Eric All is not up there is because Eric All's, he had injuries that occurred to him over the last couple of years. And he's kind of gradually taking on the label of being kind of injury prone. But this guy, his athleticism off the chain. He's listen, I'm just going to tell you straight up. The kid has a lot of potential, but he's had some injuries that kind of scare people away. That's why Eric All is sliding in the draft. But where I got him at in the 6th round, this kid is really something. He has the size. He can catch the ball. He has good speed. But like I said, the knock on him, well, his blocking is okay. He needs to improve his blocking a little bit. but he's a tough cover. But the injury bug that hit him over the last couple of years have kind of scared people off of him. But if you can grab Eric All in the 6th round, you're working with something. You're working with something. You're getting something good. And Eric All, if I'm not mistaken, y'all remind me in the chat, he kind of comes out of that lineage of Iowa tight ends, right? Didn't Hawkinson and who else, fam? Y'all name it was a couple of tight ends, man. I'm gonna have to go over my notes again because I wrote it down, and it's just something about Iowa with these tight ends, fam. Wasn't it Hawkinson? Hawkinson came out of Iowa. Who else came out? It was a couple of them, like you wouldn't believe. Like, dude, all these came out. Yeah, they've been really solid, producing some pretty good tight ends lately. They've been drawing some pretty good tight ends. The dude that tore us up from Detroit, didn't he come from Iowa? What's his name? LaFonta? I forgot the man name, man. Oh man, don't make me look this shit up right now. Man, but I think LaCondra, whatever his name is, the Detroit tight end, y'all put it in the chat, man. Didn't he come for that? Yeah, man, they got some and Laporta. There you go. Thank you, Professor. Laporta. I think Laporta's from Iowa. And I was looking, I was like, man, where did they get all of these tight ends from with all this potential that's just going into the league and just tearing everybody up? And could this guy be on that level? Could he be a guy that could do the same things? But Sam Laporta was a solid pickup, man, for the Lions. I think it was that got him. He tore us up when we played. But man, they have Eden Kittle from over there. Fam, I think Kittle's from over there too, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, bro, listen, y'all, man, that tripped me out. Let me hold up. Let me see. George Kittle. I think isn't he from Iowa? Man, it's a strength. I might be reaching on that, but let me see. I'm just doing some research right quick. I want to say he's from over there too. I want to say he comes from over there. Isn't he from Iowa too? Yep, he is from too. Fam, I'm telling you, it's something going on with Iowa. Yes, Kittles is from. Man, I'm telling you, when I was looking up Laporta, Kittles, Hawkinson, dude, yes, Iowa's been producing some NFL ready tight ends, and Eric All might be the next one, fam. Like I said, the injury bug kind of scared people up off this guy, but go watch the tape on Eric All. If he's sitting there in the 6th round and the Saints there, and I don't think he'll go drop to the 6th round, but then again, you never know, depending on who's looking at him. This could be something for the Saints in the future. Remember, I think Juwan has another year or so left on his deal this year and next year. You know, Taysom Hill is gone after one more year. So, and then, you start looking at over the next couple of years, tight ends start changing. You're stacked right now, but things start changing over the next couple of years. So Eric All could be that. Yes. Yeah. PMC tight end. Man, I'm telling y'all about Iowa. I was reading something on that Noah Fant too. Saints for Life said Noah Fant. Yeah, man, that you cannot deny the lineage of tight ends that's coming out of Iowa. That is absolutely just changing the game. Kittles, Hawkinson, about to say LaFonta, what's the man name? Laporta, and possibly could it be Eric Hill, man? I don't know, but let's just keep it, hopefully that'll be a guy that'll be available for us when we pick again. All right, so let's keep it moving, man. The next one here on the list and the other 6th round pick is KT Levinston. I picked this player before, and it makes even more sense with Hurst being out of the way, because we need players, young players to come in and do their thing. And the thing about Levinston, and I picked him on my previous mock because it just, to me, it just makes all the sense in the world. This guy could play left tackle and left guard. He was all honorable mention in 22 and 23 at left guard. He played at left tackle. He played 27 games over the last 2 years at the left tackle position, and has some value at the guard position. And he's projected to be a player that basically kicks inside to the guard position. He's positioned. Now he's 6'4", 330 pounds. So they participate. They're expecting to kick him inside to make him as a guard. And I think he's tremendous value, because you're looking at guys like Nick Saldiveri. You don't know what he's going to do for you. So, at some point they'll add veterans, but the goal to it over the next couple of years is try to see if you can get as much talent out of the draft as you possibly can, especially from versatile offensive linemen that played a lot of games. And this guy played a lot of games for Kansas State. So KT Levinston is a guy that's on. When I picked him the last time around because I like his style for what the Saints going to do. And then, of course, finally, this is another guy that kind of I looked at and I really like this tape. And a lot of people don't know this is a tremendous draft gem that I picked up at 239. And with the final 7-round pick, they gave me an A4. They gave me an A for Levingston. They ain't like my Eric All pick, but they gave me an A here. But the thing is, Javon Solomon. You talk about Javon Solomon, and he is a guy that like I said, he led college last year, FBS, with 16 sacks. And that's not just the thing about Javon Solomon. He's from Troy, right? We know they had another really good pass rusher that came from Troy and did some hellish things in the NFL. If y'all know who I'm talking about. But, and I ain't gonna say his name because, I don't like the damn team he played for. But in the end, this dude played in the Sun Belt Conference. He tore the Sun Belt Conference up over the last several years, and particularly last year, he had 16 sacks. But that's not even the most impressive thing. He had 18 tackles for loss. So this dude not only tears up stuff and gets to the quarterback, but he's in the backfield kicking ass too. Now he's undersized. He's 6'1", 246 or so. So you're going to have to kind of create a lane for him to get out there and do his thing. You got to find some versatility with him. But listen, man, we need more. You can never have too many pass rushers. Solomon was dude led college with 16 sacks, 18 tackles for loss, and a high ass motor, right? And I think, man, if this dude was 6'4" or 6'5", this dude would be a top 5 selection in the draft. The reason why he getting picked in the 7th round, and of course they're going to talk about him playing they're going to call the Sun Belt a soft conference, but you can only do what you can do. You can only dominate where you are. So, I mean, anyway, but that's some of my people right there, man. What's up, Rock? How you doing, sir? All right. So anyway, that's my call on it, fam. That's my final mock draft, just to kind of get that out the way. Number 1 is Troy Fatanu. He plays the left tackle position. He'll be your new left tackle. In my opinion, right tackle should be Trevor Penning with John Benton, the new offensive line coach, coming in. Let's see what he can do with him. Just like we've seen what Doug Marrone was able to do with Cesar Ruiz. Remember these things because they're repeating themselves. And then, of course, Devontae Sweat in the 2nd round will be kind of the guy that you plug in the rotation of the interior defensive tackles. If something happens to Brian Bercia, any of our guys, he can step in there and handle the business. Then I traded a 5th round pick and another pick to move up, or 2 of my 5s to move up to the 4th round to get pick 107. I take Cornelius Johnson out of Michigan, 6'4" wide receiver with 4.44 speed, high points the ball, needs to work on his route tree. But outside of that, a big potential player prospect for the Saints to help with the wide receivers. Then I go defensive, secondary in particular. Bo Braid gets him for you. 6 feet, hard hitting, very protective safety out of Maryland to kind of be the future there with Jordan Howden once Tyrann Mathieu retires. And then in the 5th, the other 5th round pick, Naima Pritchett from Auburn, 6 feet tall corner, also has 4.4 speed, long arms, productive, has to work on a few things, a few recognition plays, but outside of that, you give him to Joe Woods. Joe Woods will take him and turn him into a stellar player, just like he did a guy like, what's my guy that went to San Francisco? I just forgot him. Isaac Yiadom. Just like how he did Isaac Yiadom, I can see Pritchett being a good understudy for Joe Woods' system, getting them ready for if something happens to our top 3 guys, you run that modified nickel, that street corner starting for you. Somebody gets hurt, that 4th cornerback has to get in and play. I think Joe Woods can get Pritchett going. And then it's the 6th round, 2 of our 6 picks. The first 6 is Eric Hall. We talked about tight end U, as one of the family members made mention of, has terrific talent, speed, and catch the ball. The problem is injuries. Over the last couple of years, that's why they gave me a yellow C mark right there. But I think it's a solid pick to get him in the 6th round, one of my 6. And then, of course, KT Levingston is a guy I got with the other pick. He's a tackle, played tackle for you, left tackle, and played some guard. They're going to kick him into guard to the guard position. Had a lot of games in college, so he's had an opportunity to gain some experience there. He could be a guy that steps in where you see James Hurst retiring. We can get a KT Levingston in there to compete with guys against a guy like Nick Saldiveri, and kind of solidify backups with young talent that can play multiple positions. And then finally in the 7th round, Javon Solomon out of University of Troy. This guy, like I said, 16 sacks, led the FBS, and 18 tackles for a loss. You can't deny that talent. And then you always looking to add pass rushers. So I think I touched on everything, man. I gave us a couple of offensive linemen. I gave you a starting left tackle. I gave you a really solid, ultra competitive defensive tackle that's going to push the Saints interior defense. You ain't gonna be able to run on them. Gave you a speedy 6'4" wide receiver with 4.4 speed from Michigan to kind of add value to the wide receiver room. 2 defensive backs in the secondary, and Bo Braid, who will eventually get the spot next to Jordan Howden and then form a good young tandem of productive safeties. Pritchett from Auburn, who would be a really solid cornerback with 4.4 speed. He'll play that dime back position and get ready to take on a larger role with Joe Woods. Eric All is the future of the tight end position, athletic tight end with an injury history, but boy, if you can get him healthy, you got something going on. KT Leviston for depth for our offensive guard position. Play either tackle or guard, gives us some versatility. And Javon Solomon out of the University of Troy to give you a pass rusher. You can never have too many goddamn pass rushers, right? All right, so anyway, with that being said, fam, listen, I know this is kind of short, but listen, I promise you guys we'll be back. Well, of course we're going to be. Tomorrow is the draft. For day 1 draft will be on air. We'll cover it. I'll open up the phone lines for the family members to chime in. It'll be fun. And then the following day and the following day after that, phone lines, more Saints stuff. We'll see what the black and gold got going on. This is a very important draft because the Saints realize they can't spin themselves out of this crisis. That's how they got into it. So they're going to have to try to be more judicious and efficient and see if they can pick themselves up out of this. You see what I did there? But we're going to see what they do tomorrow. And with the first move, is going to be a lot of people anticipate that would be a offensive tackle. But which one? Depends on which one falls to them. But perhaps the Saints got one that they want to go up and get. Me personally, I think Fashana would be a wonderful target, but some of them saying that he won't even get there. We'll see how it all works, man. We'll see how it all works tomorrow. So anyway, with that being said, fam, I'm going to get out here. Go Pelicans, man. We need the Pelicans to split this. We need to get 1-for-1 right here against OKC. And I'm going to just talk my little Pelican stuff right quick. Listen, without Zion Williamson, the Pelicans have enough talent to beat OKC. They're inexperienced. We should be handling our goddamn business. But anyway, with that being said, I ain't going to get into that. I'm going to holler at y'all on the next one, man. I appreciate y'all. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Much love to y'all. And peace. We're back.
Yeah. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Long as I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. Sports coma, yeah, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. I'm a who that. Sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Somebody please better help. Running this thing like Elf. I thank God every day I'm not a felt. Go to YouTube Live with Big Q and the guys. If you ain't ride or die, the bandwagon get flipped. Been marching in, that was way for the ring. I was yelling out your shade for the championship. Bucking on Tampa, duck down. Falcons, pluck, get shut down. Panthers ain't much touchdown. The vision really belong to us now. So much hate on the Saints, you could probably tell. Ever since Bounty Gate hit the NFL, when things seem fishy and you probably smell the crooked referees or Roger Goodell. Probably like this and I'm a who that. Every day I'm living, I'm a who that. Lose or winning, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that. Where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that, where we do that. Boogie like Benson, I'm a who that. It's the sports coma, this is where we do that.
You're listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys on the PRO Media Network. WhoThatDaily.com. That's right, the WhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, WhoThatDaily.com is your site. The WhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform's store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. Remember, it helps the platform continue.